Hey everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. In this particular video, we'll be looking into the difference between blockchain and database. So here I've listed 10 differences between blockchain and database. Let's have a look at it one by one, starting with the very first difference, which is blockchain has distributed ledgers inside it to store the data. So basically, I already have told you each and every node which will be involving in that particular network of blockchain will be having its own distributed ledger copy with it. And in that ledger copy, all the transaction data will be stored. But in dataset, it is nothing but a collection of rows and columns, which we call it as tables. So basically, the data will be in the form of tabular format, or it can also be unstructured data. So this was the very first difference. I hope it is clear. Now the next difference is that blockchain is slow and database is fast. Now this is because blockchain uses consensus mechanism, which is why it is slow, because there is a lot of computational power or as well as resources that it takes to find out the golden norms, because of which the block will be added to the network and the process is a lengthy one. That is why it is slow in nature, whereas in database it is fast. All the operations that we perform inside database, they are done in milliseconds. So it is comparatively very faster than blockchain. Now the next point is that blockchain is permissionless. Yes, all the nodes that are involved inside the network of blockchain will be having all the rights. There is no special treatment to any of the node unless it is a private blockchain. In a normal public blockchain, every single node will be having equal privileges. That is why it is termed as permissionless, whereas in database it is permissioned. Everyone will not have all the access, all the rights to access the database. There will be some specialized user who only will be having certain access of viewing or altering the data. So this is one major difference between blockchain and database. The next difference is that blockchain is decentralized. It means that there is no central authority who is going to rule or who is going to take decisions inside the blockchain network. Every single node will be equal as well as everyone will have the same privileges. So there is no central power or authority who is going to rule on the blockchain network. Whereas in database, it's not like that. It is centralized. There is a central authority who will be having all the access and who will be having all the rights to take actions among all the other users who are involved in the database network. So I hope this thing is clear. Now the next difference is that blockchain has high security because it uses cryptographical concepts, for example, encryption, hashes, etc. Entire blockchain is dependent on hashing term because everything that is going to be a part of the blockchain network will be hashed. Every single transaction is going to be hashed so that it is going to be highly secured. So blockchain is high in terms of security, whereas when we talk about database, it relies on access control mechanism. That means every single user involved in the database network will be having certain access given to it by the central authority. So there is no such thing like cryptographical hash or encryption in databases. So that is why in terms of security, blockchain is more secure than database. Now let's have a look at the next difference, which is the operations that can be performed in blockchain as well as in database. Now, blockchain is going to allow only insertion operation. So, only the blocks is going to be added inside the network. Other than adding the blocks, there won't be any other operations that will be taking place. For example, if you want to delete this particular block, it won't happen. For example, if I want to update this particular block, it won't be happening. So only insertion operation is allowed in blockchain. Whereas when we talk about the databases, in databases, all the operations are allowed. CRUD operations, create, read, update, delete. Every single thing is allowed. The only thing is that it is allowed to only specialized user or the central authority. Every user won't be having all the privileges to use all these operations. For example, in database, if there is a table in which there are certain rows and columns, then each and every record in that particular database can be easily read, it can be easily updated as well as it can be deleted. So these are all the operations that can be performed in database. So I hope the difference is clear in terms of operations that can be performed in blockchain as well as in databases. Now, the next difference is that blockchain is non-recursive and database is recursive. So basically this means that if one transaction takes place, then that particular transaction cannot be roll backed, which means I cannot make the state of the transaction to the initial state. So this rollback concept is not at all a part of blockchain network. It cannot happen. That is why blockchain is not recursive. Once a transaction is initiated, it cannot be rolled back to its initial stage. Whereas in database, rollback is actually allowed. That means whenever a transaction takes place and if the transaction has to be rolled back again to its original or the initial state, then it can easily happen. Now, the next difference is that the blockchain stores history and ownership of records. That means every single block that was created in the past is going to be forever. It is going to be permanently stored. There won't be any deletion operation as I already discussed before. That is why it will store every single history right from the very first block till the end, or I would say till the current block. So this is going to be a part of the history as well as the ownership of records will also be stored. Every single node that is involved in the blockchain, every single node's ownership will also be stored permanently. There might be cryptocurrencies or there might be certain resources that are actually a part of that particular node. That ownership of each and every node will also be stored permanently. Whereas in database, it does not store history as well as ownership of records. In databases, every single transaction history may not be stored because there are certain stages where that particular set of records will be deleted by the owner. So that history won't be stored. Once a record is deleted, it is permanently deleted. The information associated with that particular record won't be retrieved or it won't be stored. So that was the difference. Now the next difference is that in blockchain it uses consensus mechanism, for example, proof of work, proof of stake, proof of activity, etc. So there is certain common agreement among nodes. Every single node will be involved in this particular common agreement by which the block will be added inside the blockchain network. Whereas in databases, the centralized authority will be controlling this particular consensus that is nothing but a particular algorithm through which the set of records will be altered to the database. Or if there is no central authority, then consensus among group of nodes will be created. That means certain group of nodes who are having the ownership of that particular database will be forming certain algorithm or consensus and that will be followed. So in summary, in blockchain, there is strict consensus algorithm which will be followed by every single participant in that particular network. Whereas in database, every single user won't be involved in the process of deciding the consensus. Now, the last difference is the use case in which blockchain and database is actually used in. So basically, blockchain is used in cryptocurrencies, supply chain management, voting systems, decentralized application, which is commonly called as dApps. So in all these domains, apart from this in the gaming domain also, blockchain is used widely. Blockchain has a lot of advantages when it comes to real-time tracking as well as security. So these are some of the use cases that I have listed. If you guys know some more use cases, then you can surely put it in the comment section. Now, the use case of databases is that it is commonly used in traditional business applications, data management, as well as in websites, so that the users who are a part of that particular new application or website, their information can be stored in that particular database. So this is the use case difference between blockchain as well as database. So I hope the entire difference between blockchain and database is clear to you all. If you guys have any single doubt, then you can straight away put it in the comment section. I'll be happy to solve each and every doubt. For more such videos, do like, share and subscribe to my channel. Also hit the bell icon and don't forget to follow me on Instagram. Please join me on Telegram and thanks for watching. Have a good day ahead.